they have micromanaged quite a bit over the years. I don't believe we should be doing that. I think our key thing is set the vision, prioritize the budget, and make sure that everything aligns to the vision of the district. I don't need the 2 minutes. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Same question?
No.
Surprise.
Surprise, okay. I know,
John.
it's all set for that one.
This is for John Nygren, District 4. John, do you support Common Core and why?
We're going to have a standardized test. The problem, and Beverly, I think, alluded to it very, very clearly. One of the problems is, how are the teachers trained? I think she said 2 weeks before school started. That's not enough time. Last spring, I spent a week in Youngstown, Ohio, for a Common Core in math, because I do trainings and consulting for the secondary math in N.Pinellas County. And the biggest things that came out of that workshop is that the two things that, at least in math, okay, and this is secondary class, much different than elementary, much different, is that they want kids to think and they want to be better problem solvers. It's two main things. Now, I don't have a problem with that. The trouble is, what's the training for the teachers? Okay, there was training this summer, okay? No pay for the teachers. You're expected to be there, okay? It just isn't fair. So, what do you call it, Apple Core, Common Core, Orange Core, whatever it is. There is going to be some kind of a standardized test. The teachers need to be prepared, plain and simple. It's not the same. I started back, you go back as long as I have, modern math, okay? Then we went back to basics. I mean, it's been every 5 or 10 years there's a new title. Okay, but again, it comes back to accountability. But the teachers need to be prepared.
Okay, this question is for Beverly Billerus. You have 2 minutes. What is the greatest challenge to students today in achieving education goals, and what can you do as a board member to address this challenge? What is the greatest challenge to students today in achieving education goals, and what can you do as a board member to address this challenge?
Speaking on a higher level of education, is talking about high school, I think the greatest challenge is having enough choices for our students that are coming up in school. We need to expand our occupational schools, more magnet schools. Magnet schools touch on it, but please understand a magnet school is only for children that have high achieving scores. It kind of leaves everybody else behind. So in the lower level, we need to have more fundamental schools that will help to address that. Mostly, I think it's, and I was at Rotary one day, and I did ask this from graduating seniors in Tarpon Springs, and I asked them pretty much the same question. What was your biggest challenge in school? And every last one of them said over-testing. That was their concern, because they're being taught to pass a test, not learn. And there's a huge difference. I mean, I've taken LSATs, I've taken loads of tests, and you study and you study and you study because you're studying for a test. And once you test that, you're gone. I couldn't even tell you one question I had on one of those LSAT tests. But when they're given more creativity, they do better. And they have more time for expression. When we do cookie cutter teaching, it doesn't work, and that's where we are today. So getting back to the main focus of that was mostly getting more options for our kids, more choices for our kids, so they can be successful, all students, not just magnet students. Thank you.
Very nice. Okay. Kent Curtis, this is 2 minutes. What is your opinion on the county ordinance for the LGBT group established in coordination with the Human Rights Department on gender identity and its influence on students?
I'm not sure I'm familiar with the specific county ordinance that you're talking about. Forgive me for that.
It's called Gay Day.
It is a great, I'm not sure it's a school board issue either. I think Chris is probably right about that as well, but I'm not familiar with the, I can tell you what the 4 roles of the school board are, though.
Okay. All right, we'll skip that question, being people aren't familiar with it. I hope you'll look it up.
I actually am.
Okay. Kim, yes.
Give him another
Want
question.
to give it to Beverly?
Yeah, we'll give Kent give Kent another question. We'll just move down. It's Kent's turn. Go ahead, Kent.
Appreciate it.
Okay, this is another 2-minute question. Do you believe charter schools take an unreasonable amount of money from public school systems?
I believe that charter schools are popping up in response to public schools not fulfilling their obligation and their role to educate students. I wouldn't say unreasonable. I think there are some charter schools that have failed, that have taken public money. They don't have the exact same accountability as your public schools, so I'm concerned about the number of them that come up, kids go through them, and then fail. And I'm concerned about that because education is a real-time activity, right? You can't kind of play charrette, you can't roll the dice on a kid's education. The kid who went to a school that didn't end up delivering went to elementary school or middle school in a school that failed them. And it's the same thing for our public school. This is why I say that we have to really work hard to make sure that every child is educated, that we're delivering excellent education. There are some charter schools that are doing really well in the county as well, and I think that it's the board's role. One, we don't have any control. It's just like Common Core. We don't have any control over whether or not charter schools are a part of our public education system. That's been decided by the state legislature. We do have an obligation to ensure that when those schools come online, that they are meeting standards. Now, it's not exactly the same as a public school, but the board can hold them to a high standard and say, this is what you're expected to do, and if they're not fulfilling that role, they should be closed down. So that, that's the way I would answer that question.
Thank you. This is for Chris Tashnitz, at large, to seat 2, District 2. Okay. Schools designated as gun-free zones make students an easy target for violent criminals. Do you support authorized trained teachers?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want me
got
to go
it.
further?
I think you got it.
If you want to clarify, you
Actually-
can. but you-
Okay.
Oh, it was the same question we got at the
It is.
PCCTA.
Let me finish the question,
Okay.
okay? Just because we don't really know if you answered the question. Schools designated as gun-free zones make students an easy target for violent criminals. Do you support authorized, trained teachers to carry concealed in the classroom or not?
Yes.
You got it.
You want to rephrase that?
No, you've done quite well. We got your answer. Thank you.
Okay, we're going back in the direction now, so this question is for Ken Curtis.
That was an easy one.
I lost the question now. Let's see here.
8. Question
Here we
number.
go. Okay, and you have 2 minutes for this question. Okay. Do you believe schools should be able to collect biometric data of students without parental consent? And should parents be given the opportunity to have their children opt out from such data collection or any other program they disapprove of?
I don't believe that public schools should be able to do anything with students without parent consent. Parents are first, the household is first, so collecting data like that on a child is absolutely out of bounds. I know that with the existing biometrics, I believe it's thumbprints and palm prints in the cafeteria, parents have the right to opt out of that. They're not forced it. And I'm not sure many parents know that. I'm not sure everybody takes advantage of that, and that could be better communicated. And that, for me, points to one of the challenges of our sitting board in our school district, which is a failure to communicate well with our community, with our parents, and with our stakeholders, the rest of the community, to understand what their rights are vis-a-vis the rules that come down from the school. I think, for the school district, it's very convenient to be able to move the kids through and do the palm prints and the thumbprints, and so they're not going to advertise and make a big thing about the fact that parents can opt out, but parents can opt out. That is part of that policy. And again, collecting anything on a student without parent permission is absolutely out of bounds. The family is first, parents are first, and what we need is more parent engagement and investment in the schools, not less. I don't think the school can substitute for the family in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you. Number 9, Beverly.
Okay. Beverly, you got 2 minutes. Do you believe a good teacher is essential for a child's learning, or can a child learn just as effectively, by interacting with a computer?
Did you say 3 questions? No, I as a teacher, teachers bring, and I hope I'm going to speak about a lot of teachers. I'm not going to say 100% because nothing's 100%. But from the teachers that I have worked with, when you walk in that classroom, you bring a lot of energy and life experiences that you can't get from a computer. I will give you an example in my own classroom this last year. My kids come from a poverty area. They're Title I students. It's hard to turn these children on. And yes, a computer, and they have access to computers during the day, so they have that. But you need to turn them on, and I'm a professional, and they see me as a professional, but I also sit there and tell them, I jump out of airplanes. Do you know I'm an airplane pilot? You can do that too. I travel the world. I've been in many countries around the world, and I share those experiences with my kids in back and forth conversations as we talk. What it instills in them, and I've had businesses, I've had 5 different careers, I tell them that they're not limited. A computer can't do that. A computer can't excite them. Is it a tool? Yes, it is. And we're going to get to a phase where, we're going to have a lot more computers, but I hope to God we don't get rid of what I do or did. It's important. We do make a change, and it's a positive change. Computer can't see that when I teach a lesson, how to teach a math lesson, that there's no light bulb going on. Doesn't see that. My child might walk away from the computer because he didn't get it, but I see that blank space and I go, whoa, let's do this another way. Let's find a better way so you can get it. Computer can't do that. So, no, I don't want to lose having a teacher, especially when we've got when I'm going to talk about elementary, because that's where you grab them. Don't lose the teacher in an elementary classroom. Thank you.
Great. 11. Okay. 10. This is for John Nygren, District 4. And you have 2 minutes. Can you tell us the difference between training and education?
Training may be to, as a math teacher, one of the things we use today in the secondary level is graphic calculators. And you may train a teacher how to push the buttons, okay, but how can they use that tool to educate kids? That's the difference, okay? You may, I'm a firm believer that every student graduating from high school should be able to do Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. My feeling is that if every student graduates with those skills, okay, they're going to get a job somewhere. So the training, you can train, but they have to be, again, the training as I use with the calculators. I can train teachers how to use them, okay, push the buttons, this is what's going to happen, okay? But the whole key is to make them use it in the classroom to educate the kids in the math.
Thank you.
This question is for Ken Peluso, District 4. Have you ever read the deliberate, you have 1 minute to answer this. Oh, actually, this question is for any candidate can answer this question.
No, all of them, each.
Have you ever read The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America by Charlotte Iservet?
No, I have not.
Yeah, John,
No, I have not.
Beverly?
No, I have not, but I did see the Glenn Beck program
With-
documentary.
Ken?
No, I have not.
I briefly reviewed it, but I haven't read it.
So then it would be 12.
All right. I'm
She
sorry.
looked at me.
You're asking Chris.
I got the easy one. That was a yes, no, right?
No, not really. It's just been a long day, it's already a long week, and we still got tomorrow yet. Okay, Chris, you have a minute. I don't think you'll need it. In the early days of public education, the Bible was used in public schools to teach morality, principles, and life lessons. What book in present-day curricula teaches these valuable lessons today?
In the public school system? None. Are you asking to bring the Bible back into the public school system? I think that bus is already run.
Yeah.
I had a question earlier today at the Tiger Bay Club. Would you bring back in, what was it, evolution and creationism into science class? And my answer was no. I think Dr. Peluso was the only one that answered yes to that. It was the way the question was phrased. I grew up in Germany. I had religion class in school. Like I said, I think that boat sailed. It's something that